Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha Television with me, Frank Pereira. The Goa Assembly elections are likely to be a three-pronged fight with the ruling BJP opposition Congress and new entrant Aam Aadmi Party pitted against each other in the coastal state. While the Manohar Parrikar-led BJP won in the 2012 elections in alliance with the MGP, this time it has been abandoned by its political friends who have now ganged up against it. The party will contest in 37 out of the total 40 seats. In the remaining 3 constituencies, it will support independents. For the Congress party, Goa elections are an important opportunity to salvage its political fortunes, which sunk to the lowest level during the 2012 state polls. And the Arvind Kejriwal-led Aam Aadmi Party has also been trying to make an impact on the coastal states' polity. On this edition of The Big Picture, we'll look at how the political parties will shape up for the Goa polls and what issues will dominate the elections. Joining me on the program today are Parsa Venkateshwar Rao Jr., senior journalist, Claude Alvarez, Director, Goa Foundation, Syed Zafar, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Tom Vadakan, Spokesperson and Secretary of the AICC. But first, let me go across to Rajya Sabha Television, Sanjay Kumar, who is in Goa at the moment. Sanjay, give us a sense of the mood really in Goa. How are the political parties preparing for the polls that are to take place in less than a month?
Yeah, Frank, all the political parties are just trying to get and finalize the seats and the candidates. Right now, the Congress is trying to fight 33 seats, and they are planning to give NCP 7 seats. But the thing is not finalized as yet, because NCP is already declared 5 candidates without any alliance has been declared. As far as the BJP is concerned, no name has been finalized as yet, and they are banking on parliamentary board meeting tomorrow, and they will declare their 36 candidates. And 4 independent candidates they are supporting. As far as Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, they have already declared 36 seats, and 4 seats they will declare in the coming days.
All right.
Yeah, Frank.
And as far as preparations on the ground are concerned, what is it that the Election Commission is doing to ensure free and fair polling in the state of Goa?
There is a lot of ruckus in Goa about the Arvind Kejriwal this announcement. He is announcing heavens to Goan people. And the other political parties, even the ruling party, is accusing him that he is just trying to camouflage the voters of Goa, and they are also going to lodge a formal complaint to Election Commission. And they did also a press conference about that, where they demanded action against this party.
Sure. All right, Sanjay Kumar, thank you so much for joining us there with those details and bringing us up to date with the latest from what's happening in Goa. Let me now start the discussion with my panelists here. Parsa, I'd like to start with you, of course. What do you think are going to be some of the issues this time around, and what's really going to dominate the polls in Goa?
You know, Goa, like Punjab, has got lots of problems which no political party addresses. One of the major problems, and Claude Alvarez will tell you, is the environmental degradation of the state. It's a very delicate environmental system, and it's being just trampled upon without any concern. So that is one major issue which no political party pays attention, because I think most of the political parties are dependent on the developers. The fear is that Goa is losing its identity and its ecological balance, and that should have been the main plank of all the political parties every time, but nobody seems to address that particular question. I think it runs on the very cynically political thing on the axis of the language, Konkani versus Marathi, and Christian versus Hindu. Last time the BJP said that it won over the Christians also, it just didn't win on the Hindu plank, and that it has been able to reach out and penetrate the other side as well. So we'll have to see whether they will maintain the same sort of pan-Goa plank to make their headway.
Last time around, they had the charisma of a certain Manohar Parrikar who's at the
That's
center
true,
at
but
the moment.
then they changed the rhetoric also at that time. Right now, Mr. Parikar's rhetoric is different from what it was in 2012. So we
Indeed.
do not know how they would. It might be the case that they would like to play a different card in Goa from what they do at the national level, because that is the strategy of any political party, looking at the local needs and compulsions. Congress, I'm not very sure whether they have any clear idea of how to go about it. The only reason why Congress could bounce back is because the people want to change from BJP and they would like to choose. Now, what about the Aam Aadmi Party? Now, Aam Aadmi Party can sort of take advantage of the issue that people are marauding Goa and that they would want to save. And mainly this degradation of the environment of Goa means that it is full of corruption. So they would attack more the corruption rather than the more important question of ecological balance.
Indeed.
So the other thing Aam Aadmi Party has its advantage is it could appeal to the middle class, which is fed up with both the parties.
Sure.
And that might give them an advantage.
It remains to be seen what really happens, and we'll know in just about a few days' time as to what these parties' plans are really in for Goa. Yes. But let's get in the political panelists into the debate as well, starting with Syed Zafar. Syed Zafar, you know, in 2012, everything seemed to work for the BJP in Goa, and there was the charisma of a certain man called Manohar Parrikar who brought all the people of Goa together. Now, and in 2012 also, what worked for the BJP was the fact that it had those small alliances with other like-minded parties. That does not seem to be the case this time around. How much is that going to really affect the fortunes of the BJP in Goa?
Well, well, if you see the strategies we are adopting in all the state elections in last 2.5 years is only the issue of development. We understand the aspiration of people of each state, be it Goa, Uttar Pradesh or elsewhere. Each state, the people have some aspiration, and that aspiration is we address in our manifesto. As and when we'll come out, we'll address all those concerns which the Goan people have. Having said that, the main plank of BJP is development, and will continue to have development as our agenda in all the elections, wherever we are having election in 2017 or going forward as well. The people of, particularly people of Goa, have not seen the kind of development the neighboring states have seen. And we will ensure that what we have done in the past, since 2012, we will continue our endeavor even in future. And we have a lot of comfort and confidence in the people of Goa that they will vote for us again, because they have seen the kind of work we have delivered in last 5 years, and in comparison, which was Congress, what they haven't done in last several years when they were ruling in Goa. And Aam Aadmi Party is just making a statement, and they have misled people in Delhi, and now they are trying to mislead people in other states wherever election is being held. So if you take BJP, and its strategy is only two. One, understand the aspiration of people of Goa and address their concern in our manifesto and deliver it. And secondly, all the developmental activity which has not been done by the Congress in earlier years, and what has not been done so far by our own government till whatever is left to be done, which will get done in going forward as well.
Indeed. All right. Tom Vadakan, I know you want to respond to everything that Syed Zafar has said, but also my additional question is, 2012 was a bad year, bad election for the Congress in Goa. It's time, you know, that the Congress did something in Goa so as to bounce back from the results of 2012.
Well, I was in Goa the last week. I went there for a press conference in the middle of the night. I moved from the airport to the city. So casually I asked the cab driver, I said, this is the 31st, the places must be crowded, no hotel bookings, and it will be completely crowded, and what have you, Goa. That's a perception I had. But I was in for a shock when this gentleman told me the hotels are all available, there are plenty of, there's nothing, no tourists coming in, and there's a situation. I said, what? Why is this happening? He said, this demonetization has hit us bad, tourism sector has been damaged terribly, and that tourists are running away, and then all that kind of a situation. I didn't believe him. And I did, I'm not talking politically now, I'm just talking about what happened to my. So I went in for lunch at one of the restaurants there, and hardly 3 people in a place which did not have place for a person to stand. That is the kind of situation my friend Islam's government has done. I mean, it has nothing to do with the state government so much, but the situation that developed from Delhi. Be what it may. I heard Mr. Islam talking about development, and that is the worst nightmare, Goa warns Islam. You know actually what happens there? Under the name of development, a whole huge number of developers have descended on Goa. And what is being done, Mr. Parsa has just has mentioned, environmental situation has been damaged so terribly that Goa is no more a Goa kind of a situation. I accept your concept of development across the country may be useful, but development in Goa means something else. It means that you are going to damage the environment like hell, and this is going to be reflected in the election. Now, as to the question of Aam Aadmi Party, yes, I heard the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi today say that a vote in Punjab means you are voting for their current Chief Minister, Mr. Kejriwal. The point is, where all will he be Chief Minister? He is Chief Minister here. That means you are changing the Chief Minister of Delhi and grafting him there. And now Goa, I am told the government there is inquiring into their CM face, into all details. Now, whether he continues or there will be a roving Chief Minister, Delhi, Punjab and Goa. I mean, this is a ridiculous situation. They have announced their candidates and they are talking about corruption. But corruption is an issue which needs to be addressed, accepted. But what about their own corruption? I think Mr. Islam's party has put 12 of their MLAs in jail. I am not saying they are wrong or right, but they have investigated. Their MLAs, they get elected and they are all in jail. Now the point is, how many of them will be inquired? The CM face there is facing an inquiry. Point is, the people of Goa want a clean government. Who's going to offer it? Let people of Goa decide.
Sure,
Let us not push people of Goa to a position where they have no options.
All right, fair enough. I'm told that we are joined by Claude Alvarez, Director, Goa Foundation as well. Claude, thank you for joining me on the program. You know, who really is going to provide that clean government that everybody is talking about in Goa? What do you believe are the factors that are going to influence these polls in Goa as well?
Well, right now, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Can you hear me? Okay, I'm going to proceed on the basis that you are hearing me. The Congress was reigning for quite some time. They provided such a miserable performance that in 2002, the Goan public was so fed up with them that they decided to go to the BJP. And the BJP had 5 years of uninterrupted ruling. As a result of those 5 years, we are probably further away from our aspirations than when the Congress was in charge. And today, the situation is really macabre, because if we don't go to the BJP today, whom do we go to? Whom does the public in Goa go to? And who is emerging? Now, looking at what is happening on the ground and the fact that there's a massive distress situation, one of the panelists already remarked about the complete clean out of the tourism economy this season because of demonetization or whatever. The public is now finally having to put its faith in completely untested parties. And Aam Aadmi Party is, of course, one of them. It's completely untested in Goa. Not a single one of the persons, including the proposed Chief Minister, who is a very good man and a very decent guy, even this person does not have what you would call political experience. All the candidates are completely new. Now, apart from Aam Aadmi Party, you have, of course, the MG Party, which was the original party of Goa. Now, that party got demobilized practically, and at some stage had almost become instinct Today, that party is putting up candidates in 29 constituencies because they feel that somehow the hostility and anger towards both the Congress and the BJP is so enormous that they will at least stand a chance of coming back. Now, apart from the MG party, you have several other local parties, particularly Goa Forward, which is of course headed by a very young politician who has made his mark on the field and who for the last 5 years has been the only opposition in the assembly. Now, they have also put up candidates all over the place, and there's the Suraj party, which has not been able to perform at all for the last 16 years of all the elections. Even they have an aspiration that in the present gloom, where both the national parties are not able to provide any relief despite having 5 years uninterrupted ruling, they feel that somehow or the other they are going to stand a chance in this coming election. And that's the stage to which the Goan electorate has been reduced, that we now have to aspire and hope and put our faith in completely new people, untested people, small parties with very small followings or very ancient followings, and we have got to think about whether these people will now provide the type of relief that the two major parties have been unable to provide. That's our situation today.
Fair enough, fair enough. Parsa, it's no longer going to be a bipolar contest in Goa between the BJP and the Congress. It's going to, even some of the smaller players might have a say this time around, is what Claude Alvarez is saying. Do you believe that some of these smaller parties have it in them to really topple the Congress or the BJP in Goa?
They may not be able to topple, but they will create an untidy situation where if the verdict is fractured, that smaller parties, like it has happened in some of the other states, will play a bigger role. Formerly, when there were no smaller parties, there used to be a huge chunk of independents who would be elected and they would play an important role. But the question is, for all these parties, for all the political parties, what is it that they want to do for Goa? That is not clear. How can they do? Goa is naturally endowed with mines. It is naturally endowed for tourism. Now, how can you maintain tourism without degrading the environment? How can you carry on mining activity without damaging the environment? These are very, very delicate issues. You cannot have one or the other. You have to do a balancing act. And there is no party or politicians or a group of people who are able to think, saying that they have to make difficult decisions. No decision is going to be easy. So, in Goa, it becomes quite crucial because it's a smaller state. There are a smaller number of people, and the responsibility of taking decisions, that is informed decisions, becomes all the more important. I don't see many of the parties in a position to do that kind of political thinking. I mean, Goa is a test case of where you have to think and be popular. You cannot just be popular for popularity's sake. Indeed. Because as I have said, tourism is a very big thing which can be developed, and it can be a great revenue earner. It can provide employment all over Goa. But how do you do tourism without damaging the scene in the state?
Indeed, indeed. Syed Zafar, do you have a plan as to how you're going to balance out these delicate equations in Goa? What is it that you're going to tell the people? What is it that you're going to deliver on? Because like the other panelists also said that tourism has been at a dismal low this time around in Goa, and that should be a cause for concern.
See, it is very unfair to give only whatever has happened during the demonetization scheme of last 50 days. You may have seen less number of tourists in Goa, if at all, if you believe the other panelists, the Congress spokesperson was speaking about it. Even for a moment, if I assume that whatever he was speaking was correct, still you must understand that this was the period where the government had taken a call to demonetize the currency, and it was intended for a long-term benefit for the country as a whole. So you don't take this as a sample for what has happened in Goa, whether the tourist was not visiting or coming in Goa. Last year, if you really want to take a sample size, take the sample size of all the 5 years and then come out with a rational that whether the tourists are attracted to Goa or not, and you will get the response that tourists were coming to Goa. Maybe you have seen some dip this year, but purely because of demonetization scheme, and we have seen that what has happened during these last 2 months, but you will see the demand picking up again in going forward. So the issue with for BJP is as I said earlier, the aspiration of people of Goa. We have to address all the concerns as aired by some of your panelists, and those are the concerns which will get addressed by the in our manifesto, as and when we come out with our manifesto, because at the end of the day we want to serve the people of Goa and in the best possible manner. We have given a good government, we have given a good governance, corruption-free government in last 5 years, and we want to continue this and serve the people of Goa in the best possible manner, and understand their concern, understand their aspiration, and develop the state in a manner which not only generates employment, also create a lot of revenue for the people of Goa, and the tourism industry, which has a lot of impetus and they're getting a lot of support from the central government. Well, they will continue to see this kind of support from the central government as well to develop the tourism industry in the state of Goa.
Sure. Fair enough. Fair enough. Tom Vadakan, what is it that, like Claude mentioned earlier as well, he spoke about how, when the Congress was in power, also did not deliver on some of the promises that it made, and, that's unfortunate. But what is it that the Congress is going to do this time around to look at the aspirations of the Goans?
See, before I go into our manifesto, there is a problem that exists in Goa in terms of, he said just now, our panelist, that if there is a fractured decision, then it becomes money bag policy, where you pay and you buy them and this thing goes on. I mean, this is a reality. I mean, I want to put this on a public domain, that then there is an attempt to take these MLAs out and form a different government. And even during the period that we were there, the number of MLAs makes a situation where defection becomes a major issue. Each chief minister is looking behind, wondering whether his MLAs are around, who is there, who is moving to the other side. Now this has become a hunting ground for this kind of a thing. We had problems earlier. We've not had a good period, but we have studied from our mistakes. My request to the voter in Goa is, give us a majority and see our development agenda. We believe that tourism is a very important factor. At the same time, under the guise of tourism, we can't have a development that which destroys the environment. Goa is essentially a place where you need tourism. It has to be developed. And our plans are that tourism will be one of our major focuses. Environmental issues. I was at the PCC office and I was discussing the political issues, but there I had a number of people who had come in and said, we are going to have demonstrations here, there, they are doing some development work, which is ruining the environment. And that led to another debate. But point I'm trying to make is, whichever party comes there, let them deliver to the people of Goa. Because Goa is one place which needs development because it's an international tourist spot. Law and order is another issue, which I remember having been earlier also to Goa. I hardly saw a policeman. Law and order situation was naturally, it was very good. Now point is, a lot of drug related problems are coming up. There is a nexus between politicians, the police, administration who know exactly who are the vendors. But point is, action need to be taken. Somebody must come in line and say, yes, we need these guys hauled up. And that is the kind of action we propose to do, God willing, if we get the majority.
All right,
but if
enough.
we don't get the majority, then that's the issue which is in public domain again.
Claude Alvarez, how big an issue really is the drug and prostitution problem in Goa? How do the people of Goa really relate or react to such kind of issues?
Well, there's a very, very strong sentiment against many of the things that have happened in the name of tourism. The prostitution and drug menace is now more severe than it was earlier. And there's a huge amount of opposition to the proliferation of casinos. Casinos have not been mentioned in this debate so far, but the BJP came to power on the promise that it would close down casinos. Today, they have allowed doubling of casinos. And now the Congress has come forward to say that they will close down casinos. So this type of monkeying around has been going on for far too long. And I think that whatever manifestos either the BJP or the Congress produces, these manifestos really nobody reads them. The BJP, in fact, has said in its last manifesto that they were never going to allow any more mining leases to be granted without auctions. But promptly, when they had the opportunity, they granted 88 mining leases without auction. That too in a manipulated exercise just 5 or 6 days before the amendment to the mining regulations came into force. So I don't know what is the credibility of both these national parties, and they will have to work very hard at the ground level to try and capture something which they had originally, which induced the electorate to vote for them. In the absence of that, looking at what's happening at the mining scenario today and what's happening at the tourism scenario today, I agree that demonetization effect is temporary for this year. And Goa remains an obsession, and it will remain an obsession till people get fed up of it. But there is also a sign that people are getting fed up of it, because there is no regulation in the industry. The hotels charge as you want. When Christmas came here, people arrived at the airport. They found that taxis were charging them 3 to 4 times the amount. There is absolutely no governance from that point of view, whether it was the BJP government or the Congress government. And there is no distinction even as far as corruption goes.
Right.
From my experience, the corruption during the BJP time and during the Congress regime is actually equal. I don't think you can even compare them. They are at very low levels in that sense, because low level means I'm saying you cannot even discuss the issue, because it's so universal right down to the level of talatis and so on, that people have literally got fed up with every government servant. You can't get even a simple job done at any level of panchayat or administration at the block development office or at the collector's office. There's a complete paralysis of governance as far as the state is concerned.
Right.
And this has happened with both the major parties. I can understand that when the smaller parties come into force and they get into coalitions and so on, and without having any political experience, probably we'll be in a worse situation.
Right.
But at least they claim that they are not linked to the large-scale corruption that takes place, and which has taken place in Goa with a lot of alienation of land. Who's actually been responsible for depriving the Goans a lot of their spaces? It is both the Congress and the BJP and their decisions. They have put in a lot of projects. They brought in a lot of industries which actually have come at the expense of the space available to local residents. They have actually changed regulations like the Tenancy Act to enable tenants to be displaced. And there's a huge part of the population which got possession of lands through the Tenancy Act. They are very resentful of this. The Forest Rights Act, for example, nobody wants to implement in Goa because there's a sizable tribal community in Goa which nobody knows about, and the government wants to do nothing because if they start enforcing tribal regulations in the state
Claude
of
Alvarez,
Goa,
I'll have to cut you short there because we're completely out of time on this edition of The Big Picture, so I'll have to cut you short. I'd like to thank my guests at this point in time, Parsa Venkateshwar Rao Jr., Claude Alvarez, Syed Zafar and Tom Wadakan. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me on this edition of The Big Picture and putting things into perspective for us. That was our curtain raiser for the Goa elections. Hope we covered most of the issues there. That's all the time we have. Thank you so much for watching.